What's going on? I'm back. I want to talk a little bit about the draft. It's my favorite time of year in the basketball world. Today we're going to talk about the Orlando Magic and just some things I think they could do better going forward and, with their selections and, best case scenario, worst case scenario. They have a sixth pick in the draft in the first round and the 25th pick in the first round. So you got a little bit of, you got some options. At the sixth pick, you might get a player that could possibly turn around your franchise or, produce right away. So I'm going to give you a little bit of recap on their year and, best case, worst case scenarios, what they could do going forward, in both directions. To me, they started off the year last year on draft night when they picked Sabonis and they traded him and Oladipo to the Thunder for Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka obviously didn't finish the year with the team. They traded him mid-year for Terrence Ross, which I didn't think was a terrible deal because Ibaka's a free agent and Terrence Ross is, he has some potential, of course. Very athletic player, shoots a three, decent. And, there's some potential there. Younger, he's got a couple more years on his contract. And like I said, Ibaka could be, he could have been gone at the end of the year anyway. So at least you got a return on that. The Sabonis and Oladipo trade, I didn't really like that just because Oladipo came off a great year. Sabonis turned out to be, really useful piece, a stress forward. I didn't know he could shoot the ball as well as he did. Coming into the league, he looked like he might be a project just because, he's not the strongest guy in the world. But he could play. He could play. So I was kind of surprised they made that move. It was kind of puzzling, but I think they were trying to clear the way for, Fournier to, take over as the team's leading scorer, which he did. He averaged 17 this year. Also, some bright spots. Elfrid Payton had a good year. He averaged 13 and almost 7. Aaron Gordon had a decent year. I think they're still waiting for him to break out, though. Vucevic averaged about 15 and 10. He's always good for a double-double. Very solid player. Very underrated, in my opinion. And like I said, Fournier, he averaged 17. And, he's a very capable scorer. But I don't know if he's the guy, you can, going forward that you really want leading the team. No disrespect to him. But I think he's a piece. I don't think he's the piece. You know what I'm saying? They finished 29 and 53. They missed the playoffs for the fifth year in a row. First year under Coach Frank Vogel. He came from Indiana. And my best case scenario for them, I think there's two. I think you hope Jason Tatum falls to you at 6, and you hope he produces right away and he becomes your franchise player. I just think he's a very crafty scorer. He reminds me a lot of, a Carmelo Anthony, not as, super athletic, but just polished, like mid-range pull-up game, just very, very, very mature beyond his years. I think he could be a really good piece going forward and possibly an all-star caliber player if given the touches and, put in the right positions. Secondly, I think if you can get Frank Vogel to convince Indiana to give up Paul George for the 6th pick and the 25th pick, therefore they don't lose Paul George for nothing next summer, and you get 2 picks in this draft, which is not a bad draft at all. And I'm not sure what next year's draft looks like. I haven't got that far ahead. But I think the 6th and the 25th pick in this draft will get you 2 pretty decent players. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, at 6, you're looking at a guy that's going to help you no matter what, hopefully. And 25, you might be able to get some value out of that because this draft is kind of deep in my opinion. So those are the 2 best case scenarios. Worst case scenario, you don't get Tatum. You pick, let's say, Jonathan Isaac or the post out of Arizona from Finland. I don't want to butcher his name, but I believe his first name is Laurie. And they don't produce right away. They're projects. They're 2 years away from being, they're a year away from being a year away, type of thing. And it'll take 2 years for them to get going. And I think that's the worst case scenario just because you need, if you're Orlando, you need people right now. You got a good point guard and Elfrid Payton. Gordon's pretty versatile. Vucevic, you got him on the contract. He's guaranteed double-double. I think it's time to make that move. And like I said, if you get Paul George, you put him next to Payton, Fournier, Vucevic, and Aaron Gordon. Maybe stretch 4 if he can knock down his jumpers. I think you have a playoff team for sure. I don't think there's any question of that. And you have, maybe you can show Paul George in that year that hey, we might have some here, and with you here, maybe we could possibly bring somebody else here because obviously Paul George, all-star caliber player, probably a top 10, top 15 player in the league. That obviously helps your roster. And for a team that won 29 games, I think he's worth 12 to 13 more, which would put you over 500, and in the East that gets you in the playoffs. I think that helps. They got some unrestricted free agents, Jeff Green and Jody Meeks. Always liked Jeff Green's game. Just always thought he was going to be so much better. But he's a very solid NBA player. 2 years ago, he averaged like 16 for Boston. Like, love his game. He was like the low-key, one of the first stretch fours with OKC, when he was playing the four next to Durant and Nat Christie. People forget that, but always been a solid player, man. Always love his game. Jody Meeks, knockdown shooter, man. I'll never forget when he put 52 on Tennessee's head. It's just, he's a solid player, especially this day and age. When it's a 3-and-D, shoot the 3-ball, play defense. I think he could do that. So, just a young team. I don't see them bringing both of them back. Maybe Jeff Green, if they can get him at a deal, maybe 1 year, $9-10 million. But we'll see what happens. Jody Meeks, they probably let him go, just based on he was hurt all year, he didn't play. So, and they have a restricted free agent, Damon Rudez, very intriguing. Obviously a foreign player, was with the Wolves the year before. Like his game though. He fits in with his team just because he's young. But I don't know if they keep him around just because he kind of plays that 3 spot, and now, with the 3 spot, you're going to put Gordon there, or you're going to put Terrence Ross there, or you got Hezonja still. They're still waiting on him to, become what he's supposed to become. I believe they picked him the 5th pick 2 years ago, and he had a really good summer league, but he struggled this past year. A lot. Sometimes he got benched. They talk about him being traded. So we'll see what happens. I really think that this team needs that all-star player. It's weird. Seems like they've had him for years and years, and now they haven't. Like, they started off right away. They got Penny and Shaq out the gate. Then it was on the McGrady and the Grant Hill. Grant Hill obviously was hurt some, but you had McGrady, and then it seemed like McGrady, Steve Francis, and then it was like a year in between, and then it was like Dwight Howard. You know what I'm saying? I think they're going to need that cornerstone piece to help them move forward and challenging the East in the years to come. This draft is going to be crucial. I would really like to see them pull off that Paul George deal, just because that lets the NBA know you're trying to make a move, man. We're not going to sit around. We're not going to pick this guy at 6 and pick this guy at 25, and we're going to hope it works out. And we got him for 4 years, so maybe we'll be good in 4 years. And now you get Paul George, you telling everybody like we all in. I like that. So hopefully they can get a deal like that, in that type of way done. You know what I'm saying? Maybe just to improve their franchise, because they have the pieces. You know what I'm saying? They have, like I said, Vucevic. Elfrid Payton is an underrated point guard in the league, but I think he's probably one of the better defensive point guards in the league. He's probably in the top 5 to 7 in my opinion. Like I said, Fournier can shoot the ball. You got Ross coming off the bench or possibly starting. Hezonja, if he ever gets it together, you know what I'm saying? And Aaron Gordon is just, you know what I'm saying? If he doesn't become that that wing player that it looks like he wants to be, he can still probably average a double-double in this league just because, you playing that 4 spot, he might have some mismatches. So we'll see what Orlando does on draft night, man. I'm excited. I'm obviously from the Tampa Bay area, so Orlando's close by. I want to, I keep tabs on them a little bit. So we want to see what they do, and hopefully they make some good moves, and better times are ahead. So it'll be fun to see. Check y'all out after the draft.